Hey guys, welcome to this week's video. So today's video is going to be my winter reading wrap up. I haven't done a wrap up in a hot second. I just did my spring TBR and like all the new releases I'm looking forward to kind of video a few videos back, so go check that out if you want to see that. So I usually put this video and that video kind of together. I'll do like a wrap up plus a TBR for the next season, but I just made it its own video because I also had like the new releases I wanted to talk about. So I figured I'd just do my own little winter wrap up even though it's pretty small. So this is kind of from December till obviously right now because we're I don't even know when hey Google, when's the first day of spring?
In the Northern Hemisphere, spring will start on Thursday, March 20th and will end on Friday, June 20th, Central Time.
Tomorrow's the first day of spring. Okay, did not realize that. So perfect timing for this video. I've talked about this before, but I was in quite a book slump last semester, along with I just didn't have any time to read last semester. Like that's simply what it was. I have finished 4 books so far this year, so talk about all those. Yeah, I guess let's just get started. So I have my Fable up and I have been using Fable this year instead of Goodreads. I like it so much more because you can do specific star ratings, you can do DNFs, like did not finish, so it can specifically log that as like I did not finish. Whereas on Goodreads you either have to like delete it or just like say that you finished it type of thing. So I love that. And the only thing I wish they had was like sometimes when I'm looking up a book to get its release date, it won't tell you, it'll tell you like the year, like the month and the year it comes out or came out, but it won't tell you the date. That's like the one thing I don't love about Fable. We're gonna start back in December. So pretty much November, December, I only read 1 book and that was My December Darling. That was on Kindle Unlimited. So I wanted a cute little Christmas, you know, festive book to get me into the holiday spirit, especially once that semester ended. I was like, okay, I have time to read. I want to read like a festive little read. So I read My December Darling by Lauren Asher. For her, it's considered a novella, but it's still like over 200 some pages. I can't remember the exact page count. I think it's around 250. Like I don't think it hits 300. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was still long. You know, that's like a full-size book, I feel like. So Lauren Asher's books like themselves are like 400 to 500 pages. So for her, that is a novella. It was really good. I rated it 4 stars. I'd probably go back and lower that rating now, but I feel like I tend to do that a lot. Like I need to wait to rate these books like and sit with them for a while before I rate them, but it's okay. Like I'm just gonna tell you what I rated them at the time, and I guess that is my true feelings about it because I just finished it and it's like, I guess I should just stick with that. So 4 stars for that. Again, it was a cute little festive read. Why am I blanking on literally all the details of that book? See, maybe it should not have been a 4 star. Oh yes, okay, so Catalina, the female main character, her sister is marrying her ex, which you would think that would be like a crazy like family drama moment, and it's really not. Like they all get along together. Catalina really doesn't like her ex, like in the romantic way. It's not like she like wants him back or whatever. They're like kind of preparing for the wedding throughout the entire book. So she's visiting her hometown for this wedding and like throughout December and January and stuff, and then she's gonna leave, and then Luke is her like enemy. It's kind of an enemies to lovers thing, but like, you know, it can't really, like, what are you enemies about? Like, be so for real. He is the best man in the wedding and she's obviously like the maid of honor, bridesmaid, whatever. So they have to like, you know, do a lot together and stuff. She's a nurse as well. I don't know why I love like reading about like that kind of, not trope, but like in Yours Truly, like all of Abby Jimenez's books, they're like nurses and work in the healthcare field. So the snow is like huge right now. That's crazy. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm trying to like jog my memory of what even really happens. A lot of like Christmassy stuff. They like do Christmas stuff around town. They make like her family's famous like Christmas drink. I can't remember. They like sell it. Slowly they get to know each other more and they learn they're more similar than they think. And it's just a cute little Christmassy story. And I will say it's not like overly Christmassy though. Like we kind of skim past Christmas real quick. They all spend Christmas together, but we don't really like focus on it too much. It's more about the wedding and just like that time of year. So if you're not looking for like an overly, you know, if you don't celebrate Christmas and you don't want to read about it like in a festive book, this would probably be the right one for you. I enjoyed it. Yeah, again, 4 stars. That was my first winter read and I finished it on December 28th, I think this says. So moving on, if you know me, you know I love the Maple Hill series by Hannah Grace, love Icebreaker, loved Wildfire, and so of course I had to pick up the 3rd book when it came out, and that was Daydream. I did start this right when it came out in August, but I did not finish this until January 4th of this year. I made my way through it slowly, but then once I got towards the end, I was like, I just need to finish this book, and we got through it. I also rated this a 4 star, which is kind of crazy for me because I'm always like, I'm just gonna rate every book in the series 5 stars. Like I rated Icebreaker 5, I rated Wildfire 5, which again, that type of thing, like looking back on Wildfire, probably lower the rating. Icebreaker is a solid 5 star for me just because of like the feeling I got when I was reading it and like how fast I read it. But this, I bumped it down to a 4 star because I just felt like there was so much repetition and like just moments like long stretches of the book where nothing was really happening or like moving the story along, in my opinion. But it's about Henry and Hallie. Henry, we've been waiting for his book since Icebreaker. He's, you know, on the hockey team as well. He just became captain, so he's kind of struggling with that. And then Hallie just is going through a lot of like family stuff and like also stuff with her ex, and like her family loves her ex, but they're again obviously broken up, and like it's just this whole thing. So her family really annoyed me in this. Obviously they're like meant to be annoying, like that's the point. I don't know, just something about it. It's like, oh my god, they're making me angry. Yeah, she helps him with school because he's struggling, and he's like, you know, the hockey captain, so he can't be getting these bad grades and stuff, so it's like cute that way. She's bookish, she's wearing the Taylor Swift cardigan, so there's lots of mentions of Taylor in the book. And I think he likes to bake, right? One of them likes to bake, and it's just so cute. She has a cat, like it's just such a cute little fluffy little romance. I like it. It's less spicy than her other books, I will say. So cute. If you haven't picked up the series yet, I highly recommend if you're looking for like just a perfect little hockey world found family. I love the found family in these books, like seeing all the characters come back from the previous books, and you know, they're all just adding more characters. Like Hallie was very much accepted into the friend group, and it was just so cute. So love this book. I don't know, she hasn't even announced the next one or if there will be another one. I don't know if there is. Like, I don't think this is the end of the series, but impatiently waiting for another new Maple Hills book. So good. Love those books. Then the next book that I read that I fully started and finished this year was Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I rated this a 5-star. This was my first 5-star read of the year, and Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez was actually my first 5-star read of last year, so it feels very fitting, and I'm just like impatiently awaiting her next new book, which is coming out in a few days, April 1st. So very soon we'll be picking that up and reading it as soon as I can. I read this one pretty fast. This is again about a nurse. She's like in this famous like doctor family, if that makes sense. Like her family is like at this hospital, and they have been for generations, and like they're, you know, big and rich and like this big well-known family at this hospital. And then she's driving home one night. She drives to a small town, and I forget what happens, where she's like goes off the road or something. But then Daniel, you know, sees her and helps her out. You know, they meet, and then it's like, okay, whatever. But then she stops at the bar that he goes to later after that, and they have this little thing. And it's just this cute little like thing that they got going on, but they live pretty far away from each other, like a few hours. So she keeps coming to visit him in this small town, but she's like not letting him visit her because her family, you know, like wouldn't like this guy that she's dating. And she just also broke up with her longtime boyfriend that they like have a house together and everything, so that's a whole nother situation in the book where he's like trying to get the house, and it's like, oh my god, like he's so annoying. Yeah, it's just so cute. He also runs a bed and breakfast, so that's a cute little aspect of it. It's almost giving like Gilmore Girls-ish, and of course again it's an interconnected book, so we see characters from the other books that I've already read. Technically this should have been the first one that I read, but I was too impatient and I just wanted to read Yours Truly, so I read that one first, and then I read what is the one that she released last year? What is it called? Just for the Summer. That took me way too long to like, okay. And yeah, just the way that this book and Just for the Summer are connected as well is like mind-blowing. Like going back to read this after that was very fun. Yeah, it's just a fun little story. Like I just love this fun little story. I don't know. Very good. Highly recommend any of Abby Jimenez's books. I really want to read her other kind of series that she has that's a little bit older, so but once this new one comes out I will be reading it immediately. Then this one's very exciting, so I've been wanting to read it for so long and I just never got to it. That is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Back in my little fantasy era, I haven't really read a fantasy since I finished ACOTAR. I don't remember when I finished Iron Flame, but we're not talking about that series, guys. I'm not continuing it. I'm so sorry. I'm simply not. I've had this on my physical TBR for so long, and I finally got around to it, and I'm so glad I did. It's so good. I rated this a 4.5 stars. It was very, very good. It was kind of close to being a 5-star, but there are just some things in it that I was like also annoyed by, and just, you know, I really gotta stop doing that with like the characters, because like they're doing this things on purpose, but whatever. I actually did read this mostly on my Kindle because I found out it was on Kindle Unlimited, and I read it so fast once I got on my Kindle. Like, I don't know what it is about my Kindle. I just read books so fast on there. It was about Iris and Roman. They are rival writers working at a paper. They're both like fighting for this one coveted spot on the paper. I forget what they call it, but you know, so they're both like trying to write these articles, be better than the other, and they have this like little rivalry type of thing going. And he's, you know, rich, and she doesn't really come from, you know, the most wealthy family. And also her brother went to fight in the war that's going on between the gods, because it's like very much, you know, gods, fantasy. I love like getting into worlds like this, so that keeps it very interesting. So she's writing these letters to her brother from her typewriter, but she's putting them like under her wardrobe door. She's not like sending them to him because she doesn't know where to send them to, because he's not writing to her even though he said he would. So that's like a whole thing you kind of have in the back of your mind during the book, is like, where is he? Like, why isn't he writing to her? And these letters actually end up being sent to Roman because he also has a typewriter. They're connected, so that's not a spoiler, it's written on here by the way. So he's getting the letters, she doesn't know he's getting them, and so he's learning all these things about her, and it's very, very cute, I will say. And they end up, you know, getting more involved in the war and everything, and she's trying to find her brother. And it's just a very fun little adventure, and all the characters you meet along the way are so fun. So really, really enjoyed this. I do want to read the next one. I just don't know when that will be, because I have heard mixed reviews about it. I've heard that it kind of slows down a little bit and whatever, which I hate when that happens in fantasy books. Like, why does the second one have to like slow down so much? It just, like, we can keep the adventure going. Like, we don't have to slow down, but maybe it doesn't, and that's just, I've heard wrong, I don't know. But we'll read that one, just don't know when that will be. But yeah, this is a very good, fun little venture back into fantasy for me, because I don't read it too often, but I always have, you know, all these recommendations stockpiled in my brain of like, these stories sound so good, but I just don't get around to them as often. So very, very good. Again, rated it 4.5 stars. So the last book that I finished this winter was actually, I just finished it last night, and that is Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. I rated this a 3.75, which is still a really good rating. This cover is just like so funny to me. I'm just like, I could never just be reading this in public. Done and Dusted, giving me very much Chestnut Springs vibes, which I very much enjoyed. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I read like about half of it in one day, and that was yesterday. I just kept reading. It's so easy to just sit and binge and read, because also like it's only about 320 pages, very short. The word, like, it's huge. To me, that's like a big font on a page, and just like very easily digestible. Story keeps moving. In regards to like being related to Chestnut Springs, it's like Chestnut Springs but without all the backstory and all the life details, because it is such a short book. You don't get too many details about their life story until like the very end. We got, you know, a few more details about their families' histories and stuff. So it's about Emmy and Luke, and she moved away to become a barrel racer, horse racer thing for college. She moved away, and now she had an accident, so she came back to town, and Luke kind of grew up with her family, and her family owns this ranch, so they're kind of, you know, rich, and they have this huge ranch and stuff. So she comes back to just, you know, be with family after the accident and her breakup and everything. You know, he starts to notice her a little bit more, so there's that thing going on. He works at the ranch, and she's starting to help out more since she's back, and it's this whole thing. And I do definitely want to continue the series, because now I'm like interested to see like what happens with the ranch. We got a lot of setup with this book, I feel like, for the rest of the series, which the whole series, the last book comes out in like a few days, I believe. So I gotta catch up. This is just the first one. Just, you know, your typical cowboy western. It's set in Wyoming. Little romance. Just needed a cute little palate cleanser. It's perfect for spring as well, I would say. Actually, I feel like this is perfect for late summer, because it takes place in late summer and then ends like in early fall. So I will say, I feel like we glazed a lot over of like her getting back on the horse, and like after her accident, like getting her confidence. Like, we talked about it, but we didn't see her do it too much, but we like, it happened. It just wasn't too big of a detail. I don't know how to explain it without like spoiling it too much. For such a short book, you just don't get, you know, all those details or all those scenes that you maybe would get with a longer book like Chestnut Springs, or like, you know, other books like that. So, but it's also, I also enjoyed that, because then it kept the story moving, and it just, you know, wasn't all this unnecessary details and like repetitive scenes of her constantly like trying to get on the horse and all this, you know, learning how to ride again type of thing. So I definitely enjoyed that aspect of it. Made for a quick read, like I said. Again, very excited to pick up the next book of this. Again, don't know when that will be. I'm trying to just work through my physical TBR before I continue any series or pick up any more new books besides new releases. So don't know when that will be, but that'll be a fun little, I feel like, summer little reading for me to do. So yeah, very much enjoyed. Again, excited to get more into the world and have another series of like found family and just like this family dynamic that clearly I love reading about. So those were all the books that I read this winter. Not too many, but still pretty good for me, if I'm being honest. Good start to my year as well, and I've already started reading another book that I literally read like the prologue, and I'm like, I'm ready to get into it. I'm ready to go sit and read for the rest of the day. So very excited about that. That'll be in my spring wrap up, obviously. But again, go check out my spring TBR and new releases video if you want to see what I'll be reading this spring, and leave any suggestions of books you think I would enjoy, you know, in the comments, or if you've read any of these, what your thoughts were. And I'll see you guys next week for another video. Bye.